Seeing is believing. We say this like it's wisdom, like it's just how reality works. You have to see the evidence before you can believe something is true. And for most things in life, sure, I'm not going to believe you can fly until I see you do it. I'm not going to believe that restaurant is amazing until I taste the food. But here's what we've gotten catastrophically wrong. We've applied this same logic to our own potential, to our own futures, to the life we're capable of creating. We wait to see evidence that we can do something before we'll believe we can do it. We wait for someone to hand us the role before we'll see ourselves in it. We wait for permission, for proof, for some external validation that yes, this is possible for someone like you. And while you're waiting to see it, we guarantee we'll never believe it. And if we never believe it, we'll never become it. We've got the formula backwards. Hi, I'm Ginny Clark. After 2 decades recruiting executives for Google and Spencer Stuart, I walked away to focus on something I think matters more. Quiet power, leadership rooted in self-knowledge, not self-doubt. I've spent years watching talented people dim themselves to fit broken systems. Join me on this channel as we embark on an honest and vulnerable journey to help you remember who you are. I have a few ways you can get involved in this conscious community. First, I created a free career map to help you uncover your next career move. Second, I've created exclusive content for you with community of like-minded leaders called Awakened Path. To learn more, check out the description of this video. Let me tell you about the dreams I abandoned, not because I failed at them, but because I outgrew them without realizing there was more I was capable of. I was drawn to what was acceptable, what was accessible, what was familiar and safe in the minds of the people who loved me. My parents, like most parents, wanted security for me. They wanted me to have a good job, stability, and respect. And there's nothing wrong with that. It came from love. But here's what happens when you only pursue what's acceptable. You stop asking what's actually possible. I didn't know I could be an executive recruiter because I'd never seen someone do that job. I didn't know I could lead a global practice at one of the world's top firms because no one in my family had done anything like that. I didn't know I could walk into Google and build teams because I couldn't see myself there. Not because I wasn't capable, but because I hadn't yet learned to see beyond what was familiar. And every time I stayed in the safe zone, the acceptable zone, I was abandoning dreams I didn't even know I had. Dreams that were timing out while I was busy being realistic. So why do we do this? Why do we refuse to envision something bigger, bolder, different from what we've known? Because we're terrified. We're afraid we'll look foolish, that we'll announce this audacious vision. I'm going to lead that division. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to write that book. And then it won't happen. And everyone will know we failed. Everyone will see that we're not as special as we said we were after all. We're afraid of disappointing the people who expect us to stay in our lane. Your parents who sacrificed so you could have stability. Your partner who signed up for the version of you that exists right now. Your colleagues who have you neatly categorized. If you start seeing yourself as something different, you disrupt their comfort. And that feels like betrayal to them. And we're afraid of disrupting our own identity. You built a sense of who you are based on what you've already done. Your resume has become your identity. And if you start envisioning yourself in a completely different role, in a different industry, living a different kind of life, you have to let go of the story you've been telling about who you are. That's terrifying, because if you're not who you thought you were, then who are you? The 20th century mystic, Neville Goddard, understood something most of us have forgotten. He taught that imagination is not fantasy. It's a creative force of the universe. And he gave us a practice that sounds deceptively simple. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not hope for it, not work toward it, and maybe someday you'll get there. Assume it's already done. See yourself in that role. Feel what it feels like to be that version of you. live from that reality before your external evidence exists that it's true. That isn't delusional thinking. This is how manifestation actually works. You don't get the promotion and then start seeing yourself as a leader. You see yourself as a leader fully, completely, without waiting for the title, and then the promotion comes. You don't wait until you have the business to feel like an entrepreneur. You assume the identity of an entrepreneur and the business materializes around that state of being. You don't wait to see evidence that you belong in that room, in that industry, in that role. You see yourself there first. You believe it internally before any external validation appears. Seeing, internal seeing, envisioning must come before believing. And believing must come before manifesting. We've been taught the exact opposite. We've been taught that external seeing creates belief, but that keeps you locked in what already exists. It makes you a prisoner of your current circumstances. So here's the question that matters. What are you not letting yourself see? What role are you not allowing yourself to envision because you don't have proof yet that you can do it? What version of your life are you not imagining because it's not acceptable or realistic based on where you came from? What dream are you letting time out because you can't see how it would happen? So you stop seeing it at all. I'll tell you what I see all the time. Brilliant people who are perfectly capable of the next level, but they can't envision themselves there. So they don't apply. They don't position themselves. They don't show up as that version of themselves. And they point to the lack of external evidence. See, I wasn't ready. I wasn't qualified. It wasn't for me. When the real problem was they never let themselves see it in the first place. Your inability to envision it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. So how do you start seeing differently? First, you have to be willing to disappoint people, including yourself, including the version of you that's been playing it safe. You have to be willing to look foolish, to envision something that hasn't happened yet, to claim an identity before you have the credentials. This is the essence of know yourself, the first of my 5 dimensions of conscious leadership. Not knowing your resume, not knowing your past, knowing who you're becoming, knowing the version of yourself that exists in potential, waiting for you to see it. Then you practice Neville's teaching. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Close your eyes. See yourself in that role. Not someday, now. What does it feel like? How do you carry yourself? How do you speak? How do you make decisions? Don't wait for permission to feel that way. Don't wait for the title, the promotion, the external validation. Feel it now. See it now. Believe it now. Because here's the truth. The version of you that's waiting for the evidence is never going to get it. The version of you that sees it first, believes it fully, and steps into it completely. That version creates the evidence. You're not limited by your circumstances. You're not limited by your resume. You're not even limited by what's happening up until this moment. You're limited by what you're willing to see for yourself. So see it. Not the safe version, not the acceptable version, the version that scares you. The version that makes you wonder, could I really? Yes, you really could. But you won't believe it until you see it. And you won't see it externally until you see it internally. Stop waiting for the world to show you who you can be. Start showing the world who you already are. In your vision, in your belief, in the version of yourself you're finally brave enough to see. You're not delusional. That's manifestation. That's consciousness. That's how you transcend what's familiar and claim what's possible. As I always say, quiet the noise so your inner voice can offer the possibilities. Maybe it's time to stop listening to the voices that tell you what's realistic and start seeing what's actually possible. What are you finally ready to see? And more importantly, what are you going to do with that vision? Drop a comment and tell me. What have you not been letting yourself envision? What would change if you started seeing it? I mean, really seeing it, like right now. If this challenges you to think differently about belief and manifestation, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs permission to dream bigger, and subscribe for more conversations that disrupt the acceptable and invite the extraordinary. Until next time, remember, you don't have to see it to believe it. You have to believe it to see it. And it starts with having the courage to envision what you've been too afraid to imagine. You ready? Let's get to work. I know firsthand how taking that first step can be the catalyst for a life-changing transformation. I remember the moment I decided to harness my own strengths, and it made all the difference in my career. That's quiet power, and it's available to you too. That's why I created a career mapping tool just for you, to help you uncover your unique competencies and leverage them to design your own career map. Take the first step towards your next level by clicking the link in the video description. And let's release more quiet power into the world together.